Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 4, Gent 2. It is back-to-back 4-2 wins at Stamford Bridge. We get the job done. We've beaten what's put in front of us again. We're playing against the current third best side in Belgium. And to be fair, first 10 minutes of the match, I'm looking at it, I'm like, bloody hell, is the Conference League going to be like this every week? It could be fun. As long as we keep on realising that teams are going to be there for the taking. 78% possession in the first 20 minutes. Chelsea were dominant. We conceded 2 goals, but in the 6 things we learnt video today, I want to focus a bit more about the positives again, because it is 5 wins in a row for Enzo Maresca as Chelsea manager. If that's not a good enough reason to smack a like rating on today's video and subscribe to the George Benson football channel. If you are new and haven't already done so, then I do not know what is. Chelsea right now are absolutely on fire. It's another really good performance. It's another 11 changes to the starting 11. And I think when you think about the Chelsea of old, right, and you think about the fact that we might win a Premier League and we'd also sprinkle a Carabao Cup in there. You got your occasional goal for your Matthias Kesmans in the final. I think Didier Drogba quite often turned up at Wembley too. You know, what I mean by that is Chelsea had players that were not only like the main guys, but they also had players that could come on and deliver from the sidelines. And that is exactly what Chelsea have got now. We have got 2 sides that can feasibly go out there in their respective competitions and win. And not just win by just getting it over the line. Win comfortably. Win by playing exciting football. Getting fans off their seats at Stamford Bridge. I'm not entirely sure what the old the phone camera torch thing going on was in the second half. But maybe that's just because, you know, I'm a bit more old school, even as a 30-year-old than that. Not entirely sure what that was all about. But even the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. It isn't the most appealing fixture. It's not Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona. But it is still a game in a competition that Chelsea want to win. And we've got to get back behind the boys and gain momentum. And that is absolutely what we're doing. By winning matches in the Premier League, then the Carabao, Conference League as well. Chelsea right now are starting to learn what it's like to be autonomously winning. And I think that is the key takeaway from this game tonight. As much as we're going to go through the boxes in a minute, we're going to break down individual player performances. I think right now it is the fact that once again, our football club are winning matches week on week, in midweek and at the weekends as well. Fantastic stuff tonight from Chelsea. So, the way that the game went, first 10 minutes, we're putting loads of pressure on. Neto, Mudryk on the wings, both looking really sharp. And finally, we see a goal for Renato Veiga. I say finally, for your left-back, who's a new signing, who is probably, when he first joined, you'd think the 3rd choice. Turns out he's the 2nd choice left-back. Renato Veiga, since he's come in at Chelsea, has done absolutely nothing but endear himself to the Chelsea fans and show that not only does he give it large in front of the Chelsea fans, which always gets a great reaction, to be fair, he's also an absolute certified baller. And if you watch the match preview, I know I kind of screwed it up a little bit by saying Lavia and Chilwell should start, which kind of ruined any credibility for that. But at the same time, I said that seeing Veiga kind of playing as an 8 could work. And I think we pretty much proved that GBFC was spot on. By watching him play today, going forward, absolutely brilliant. He arrives in the box. It is a fantastic assist from Nkunku and Mudryk. Disasi wins the ball high up the pitch. Nkunku and Dewsbury-Hall, who occupied like a nice little pocket of space in on that right-hand side of the midfield, puts in a lovely weighted ball to Mudryk, and it is the perfect cross, and Renato Veiga guides it in. This pretty much dictated the tempo for Chelsea. It's the first goal. It's early in the match, and again, I think this Chelsea side, when we didn't score goals early in matches last season, you could see that there was an element of panic. You can see that maybe it's like, oh, well, the plan didn't work and we haven't scored yet, so is the plan working? Maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome as a team. You never know. But Renato Veiga makes sure that we get that early goal again. 18 minutes in, beautiful through ball from Tosin. Felix controls it, tries to get it to Nkunku, who, until the goal, didn't really see him very much. But Chelsea was so dominant. 78% of the possession, looking really comfortable out from the back, passing it quickly. Badiashile getting the ball out of his feet quickly, not holding on to it. Same with Tosin. Disasi as well. Pedro Neto looking good. And it took 30 minutes for Gent to even get a shot on target. Archie Brown, I think he's a young, I don't know if he's young or not, I have no idea what his age is, but he's an English left midfielder playing for Gent. Half-time, Chelsea looking good. Pedro Neto scores again early in the second half, his second goal in a week. It is a beautiful, beautiful finish. Direct, quick from Disasi, gets it to Neto to make it 2-0. 60 seconds later, Neto starts bringing the Olays to Stamford Bridge. Brilliant work again down the right-hand side. And then all of a sudden, we had a match on our hands. Gent get a goal back, literally about 3 minutes after Chelsea score, which is a bit of an issue. We do need to get better with concentration. If you look at the Gent first goal, the second goal they score is brilliant. It's a great goal. Well done to them. But the first goal is an absolute flipping shambles, mate. Honestly, you got 4 players who think they're doing Chinese whispers for like a flipping Made in Chelsea gossip column in the middle. Like, what the bloody hell is going on there? And Tosin is left all by himself with 5 players. So I'm not going to blame Tosin for that because he's the only guy who's actually still defending in this case, even though he doesn't really do very well with it. But then from there, Chelsea regained control again. And I mentioned maturity after the game that we saw on Saturday. The maturity that we're seeing now from Chelsea is that we're managing emotions on the pitch. We're managing the way that teams are going to come at us. Teams are going to get confident because the way that we're playing, we will concede chances. The fact that we keep making 11 changes every match means it's going to be kind of sometimes different, those kind of chances that we give up. But we will, playing out from the back the way that we do, invite pressure. Enzo Maresca always says about this too. He wants players to invite the players to press them so that we can then make that pass over the top to create an overload. So it's going to happen, but we get the job done. Chelsea score a third. Christopher Nkunku, great finish. Before that, we didn't see him at all, but we'll talk about it as we go through. 4-1. Nkunku and Dewsbury-Hall gets his first Chelsea goal. Absolutely delighted for him. 76th minute, Neto crosses it in. Disasi, I don't know how he's missed. Badiashile and Disasi, misses of the season, but then at the end, they get themselves another goal back. Chelsea get the job done. It finishes 4-2, but we begin. Box number 1 is a green box in the 6 things we learn for Renato Veiga. I've been so impressed with this guy. The way that he just looks so confident on the ball. It's not the finished article, which I actually think is great when it comes to Veiga, because if he was the finished article, then we'd have a serious concern. Like, it's all well and good saying, like, you want the manager to have selection headaches and whatnot. But right now, I think Cucurella is the best left-back in Europe at this moment in time, my personal opinion. But the way that Veiga looks so confident and the way he's got this, like, he's a big-built player. He looks like a no-nonsense player where he's more than happy to leave a bit in on a tackle, comfortable on the ball. We saw a beautifully weighted pass to Mudryk in the second half as well. Like, getting the ball in the opposition's half and then doing something with it, that isn't always what you expect your left back to do. So massive credit needs to go to the scouting team for this. They also scouted John Duran, by the way, who scored in the Champions League yesterday, and Samuel Morodion, the bloke that we laughed about here on GBFC. I hold my hands up. The scouting team at Chelsea, I think they know what they're doing, you know. I genuinely think we've hit a jackpot with what we've signed this summer and the way that we tried to do business, at least, even if we didn't get it done. Brilliant stuff from Renato Veiga. Box number 2 is a green for Pedro Neto. I've got to talk about him here. The finish to put Chelsea 2-0 up at the start of the second half is absolutely sublime. And then he just seems to be playing with a confidence where he knows he can beat a man. The little drop of the shoulder and then go down towards the byline is absolutely brilliant. We saw that a couple of times tonight. And to be honest, after what I saw with Noni at the weekend, look, it's difficult right now with Chelsea because when you've got these players in midweek who are doing just as well, if not better than the ones at the weekend, it is about how many times can Noni Madueke put in like a 5 or 6 out of 10 performance before Neto sticks in a 7.58 in midweek and then doesn't play in the Premier League games? That is the question right now. That I'm not entirely sure what the sweet spot is, but like, let's be real. Pedro Neto tonight looked like that man that we spent all that money on from Wolves. He was absolutely electric. And it's also something very nuanced that Neto does so well is the drop in deep to gain possession, but not like, oh shit, everybody needs me at the back and running back into the box. He just drops to a level where he's the out ball. And I think the way he does it, and yet still isn't like bursting a lung to get back, and then he doesn't use all of his energy to then be able to burst a lung to go forwards. That's the key. It's the intelligence of that positional play where if you can see that there are enough men marking that near post and defending in the box, then just peel off a little bit. And he did that absolutely brilliantly tonight. Box number 3 is a green for Tosin. I don't think I've really spoken enough about Tosin since he's come into the club. I think he's gone under the radar. To sign him as a free agent is absolutely brilliant business again. I mean, if you watched him last season for Fulham, you'd be like, yeah, pretty decent, pretty like average to above average centre-back. Does everything you ask of him. And to be fair, I think when you look at the way that footballing positions now have become like a little bit chaotic in terms of what Guardiola has basically made football become. Like your centre-back's got to do this, your centre-back's got to do that. I think with Tosin, it's like, it's just a bit no nonsense. You know what I mean? I think as much as he's still not perfect, again, it's not a great defensive performance. We conceded 2 goals, but of all the defenders, I think he was the best one, and he certainly wasn't involved in that absolute calamity, which denied Pedro Neto one of the assists of the bloody season. Good stuff from Tosin. Box number 4. I'm really happy tonight with Nkunku and Dewsbury-Hall. I think as much as I'm still a bit confused, do you know what I mean? Like, I understand that the club wanted to sell Gallagher. Maybe Maresca genuinely didn't see a place for him. I don't believe that for 1 second. I'm not going to keep bringing this up, but to think that we replaced Gallagher with Dewsbury-Hall, I'm still confused about it, but I'm going to say tonight I think he looked really good. I think it's a big weight off of your shoulders when you go from being a goal scorer at your previous club and then A, you're not scoring goals, but B, you're not starting the important games. It's a big deal for a player, and I think it says a lot when you get that first goal and you just see the relief and he's like pointing at himself like he knows he's the guy. He knows he can do the job. And I think what impressed me the most tonight about Dewsbury-Hall, and I'm very happy for him because he seems like a really nice bloke too. And I know that isn't what we judge footballers on, but it's always a good sign if they just seem like a good guy. Do you know what I mean? But I think for me, it is the running over, celebrating with the Chelsea fans, but the positional awareness to be in that little half pocket of space in the channel is absolutely brilliant. And I think tonight it was fantastic. So was Nkunku and Mudryk. And it's not like, it's not perfect again from Mudryk because it wasn't perfect from anyone really from Chelsea tonight. Apart from, I think, Veiga and Neto were by far the best players. But Mudryk just looks as though he's becoming important out there. That's what I'm going to say. It's, again, some of the touches, I'm like, bruv, please, just put a foot on it sometimes. Like, you don't need to kick the ball 50 yards ahead of you every touch. Do you know what I mean? Yes, you're quick, but you're not getting there. Most of the time, you're still being beaten by the defender. But tonight, great assist, absolutely brilliant. And again, importantly, from what I said against Barrow last week, he's not overdoing it. He's not over trying. He knows that he's not the first choice, but he's not overplaying. And I think that is the most important bit. Every single player is knowing their roles right now. I think players are not complaining about Premier League, or according to Levi Colwill, players are knocking on the door. But we're not seeing any unrest about, oh, it's 6 games into the league and I haven't played yet. Because these midweek wins are just as great, to be honest. Maybe it's not as, the football isn't as brilliant. And obviously it's the Premier League and it is a level above. There is a first team and a second team. But Mudryk again tonight did fantastically well. And look, 5 wins in a row. Enzo Maresca has won it for Chelsea. He's box number 6. Again, I think the way that he's come in and he's revolutionised the way that we're playing is absolutely fantastic. And I just want to say at the end of this video, Dad, if you're watching this video, we won again, mate. I've got to go, guys. I'll speak to you in a bit. Thank you for watching.